kind of introduction to Onshape, how it all works, just like a really quick video, just explaining how the basics work. So this is kind of my main page, and you can see we got owned by me, recently opened, whatever else. The teams, you need to be in the team eventually, the 10 times students team, and we got all these folders and things with various things in them, all these different parts throughout the year. But anyway, let's create a document. Onshape tutorial. I can totally spell, but anyway. And so in Onshape we have our parts, and then kind of build our parts in these part studios, and then in assemblies we place our parts in here, and then gotta test how they work, see the joints and whatever else. For the parts we need to make sketches, and then we extrude those sketches or like revolve or whatever else with all these different part tools. So first of all, we got to create our sketch. And so I want to align this plane. Let's say I want to make a circle, diameter 30, rectangle, width 90 by 40, maybe. That seems fine. And, oh, actually I changed my mind. I want to change it to 50. See, I can go back into the sketch in this tab. It kind of like saves all of the changes I made there. I make an extrude. Let's say maybe I want this 50 tall, and I actually want it into a triangle kind of shape along this line right there. And I can make a sketch on that plane. So you can kind of see this, the sketch that I made is not on the main plane, like not on this one, but instead it's on the front plane there. Yeah. So now I line myself to the front, and I make a line like that, check mark, and now I want to extrude that line, but the cut tool doesn't work here because I'm on add right now, so I want to remove. There we go. So now I removed that. Now we got a pretty simple part. We can place it into our assembly just like this. So now we're in the assembly and we place it in. We can move it around however we want. Let's say we want to fix it in place just like that. Now we can't move it anymore. We can place other things over top of it and see how those work. But what I want to do for today is make a bolt, an M3 bolt in fact, and a M3 nut. Yeah. So the bolts have a head on them. Not a literal head, is that the circle? 5.5 maybe is the diameter of that, I think. I forgot. And then the diameter of the inside screwy part is 3. So let's say I want this part to be maybe 15. 15 seems good. Like that. But now our sketch disappeared. So instead of creating an entirely new sketch, which is what a lot of beginners do, let's just go back to the sketch and then just show it again, just like that. And we can click on both of those faces there, sketches there, and make a new one. Make a new extrude, like that. And maybe that's 3 millimeters, seems about right. And now we go to our nut, and let's make a nut. So let's grab the top plane again, line ourselves, circle here, 3 millimeters in diameter. Now I need a hexagon. It's a hexagon tool. Just like that. And we want 6 sides for hexagon, and then let's dimension it. Oh, where'd dimension go? Dimension it 5.5 millimeters, just like that. And now we extrude our shape. So you add, let's say I want it 2.5 millimeters tall. And let's go in my assembly. So let's get this out of here. Next, insert our parts. We got our bolt and our nut. Oops, oh no. Our bolt, check mark, and our nut. There we go. Great. So now we have our bolt. Let's fix the bolt in place. And let's say I want to see how many nuts can fit on top of this there. I think I made this, how tall did I make this? 2.5 millimeters. I mean, we already know that this is 15 millimeters tall, and we can just divide that by 2.5 millimeters of this, and then we can know this is 6. But let's just say we wanted to see a bunch of bolts stacked on top of the nuts. I mean, a bunch of nuts stacked on top of the bolts with a linear pattern, and then direction, that direction there. Did that work? I don't know if that worked. That's way too big a spacing. What is that, 2.5? Like that, and let's go with 6, I think we said. There we go. So you can see it's now like simulated a bunch of nuts stacked on top of the bolt. Actually, let's simulate a connection. The slider made. So we got our slider, and can do like that. And now it's like on there. We can now like see the nut going on to the bolt like that. But we can see it also goes like through there, and that's not great. So let's change the limit. I think it's this one. So now it can only go up, and it stops right there, which is really nice. So that's kind of how we can see how an assembly can help us. I'll show you a better example of how we can use assemblies. So let's go in here. So you can see in this kind of an assembly, when we have a bunch of like really complicated parts, then how they kind of fit together and how we can think about it is better is if we put it in an assembly, so that we can like see the joints, how they work together, like how far things are going to reach, and if I've intersected this part through there, so we can kind of see how far like this range of motion is through an assembly. Or let's say if we wanted to double check that a nut does indeed fit in here, we can kind of show that. Or a screw fits right in there nicely, we can kind of just double check it in an assembly. That's kind of where they're most useful. And then also in assemblies, like once you've made these individual parts, if you make too many parts in one part studio, then it gets like really annoying to make more parts, obviously. Like editing this part while it's behind that other part would be super annoying. Even if I could just hide all these, it would still take a really long time. So it's a lot better to make them and then place them into assemblies, because these assemblies are kind of laggy. You saw we made the sketches, and then we extruded them, we got our parts, and then we placed them in the assemblies. That's basically how Onshape works.